Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. Cross the line in 3, 2, 1.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 62 of the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. My name is Jeff, and alongside me, as always, are the Brian Cage and Rockstar Spud. To my Chris Sabin, it's Max and Craig, everyone. What's going on, guys?
Hello. Someone needs to change the title of our Twitch stream.
You say this every time,
episode 55.
and it can't be us that do all the work. So if you know, then go change it.
I can't do it because I have to log in, and I have to, unless you want to give me the password, the code.
The password. Yeah, we do that every time. Anyways, why would you bring it up right now?
Because I just noticed it.
Well, guys, yeah, thanks for tuning in. Walk right into that garbage. We're back, and this is episode 62. We have a kind of crazy put-together show for you. It's the last one, technically, before Bound for Glory, for us at least, but we'll get to our schedule in just a moment. Obviously joined by Max and Craig, a lot to talk about, a lot that came out this previous week. I'll throw it to Craig, though, because it's time for numbers.
Excuse me. So, yes, it's me. It's the IInspiration TNAIW channel. We are back and we are live. And of course, as if you didn't know already, you can find us here, there, and everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Sounder, Spotify, and wherever else you podcast. As you can see down on the screen below Max, this week's numbers heading in the right direction, so we appreciate you. And of course, if you listen to us on YouTube, then drop us a subscribe. It really helps a lot, and it takes 2 seconds every time.
Yeah, you want me to jump in so I can tell you the actual numbers? And I'll pass it back. So yeah, as Craig said, please, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit subscribe. We're still at about 40% that watch it and then and don't subscribe to it. But we are up 47 altogether, 92 with a +7 on audio, 151, which is a +40 on YouTube. But our goal, since we've been saying Bound for Glory is coming up, but we're still going to try for it. We're trying for 3,000 on Twitter, 300 subscriptions on YouTube. So we're 86 away on Twitter, 74 on YouTube as far as our goals. So if you guys can help us out there, please do. And then last week, I want to thank everyone for watching. Even if you don't type in here, or you're sitting back just listening to us, it was our highest group number of people in here at once with 21, which is pretty cool. So thank you guys. You guys rock. And a lot of you stayed in here throughout the whole process. I even want to thank out, see, we always say we are unbiased and transparent. So I even want to thank the one person who dislikes all of our stuff. You're helping us with the algorithm. I don't know if you got us those extra 40 or not, but I noticed they all happened at once. So thanks to whoever's watching this and doing that. But yeah, let's get right into it. Craig, why don't you kick it to Power Rankings, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, speaking of Power Rankings, the host of Power Rankings is in the chat, so hello. I guess we should kick it over to Tatia for this week's Power Rankings from Impact on Access TV.
All right.
Hi there, this is Tatia with Rangers of Wrestling, and here's your TNAIW Top 10 for this week. Number 10, the legend known as Moose. Number 9, Gone But Not Forgotten Swingers Palace. Number 8, World Champion Christian Cage. Number 7, All Night Long Rich Swann. Number 6, Champ Deonna Purrazzo. Number 5, Bound for Glory Josh Alexander. Number 4, Bullet Club's El Fantasmo. Number 3, Savannah Evans. Number 2, Call Your Shot number 1, Chris Sabin. Number 1, Call Your Shot number 20, W. Morrissey. That was your top 10 Impact Wrestlers of the week. Do you agree? Let us know at TNAIW channel. Back to you guys.
Thank you. Always killing it. Glad to have you back. And say hi to her right there. You can see her at DATILA_. Say hello to her there. So awesome job. Do you guys agree with it? If not, as Craig always says, at TNAIW channel, write us, join the group, and make your presence felt. If you didn't notice in the first 10 seconds, this thing is live, obviously. So we're going to miss some things. We're going to mess up on some things. But speaking of that, I do want to hit on this because we have a lot of great content coming towards you. Craig and I will be with you for a Tuesday special edition of State of Impact. Wednesday, Craig will have his top 10 Bound for Glory main events of all time. A little video there just to get you started. If you have Impact Plus or the YouTube Insiders, go on there, watch those 10. Tell us what you think your favorite out of those are, or if you didn't like any of them. But I think you will. Thursday, obviously, of Impact on Access TV, followed by our release of the unboxing series of trading cards 2 and 3. If you've watched any of ours before, you know it's at least, the very least, interesting, or you can laugh at me. So it's worth your viewing. And then Friday, we have the first time ever, the unofficial Impact board game. Craig, myself, Bert, and Lucha will be playing it. I created it with the help of Craig. It is I don't know if you call it RPG, but it's a strategy game, Gauntlet for the Gold, so it's based off a Battle Royal. Really fun. It'll be a good time. And we're going to be looking for 2 contestants every month. Then Saturday, we have 8 to 9 p.m. preview show, which then obviously Bound for Glory starts at 10. Before that's 8:30 to 9, or 9:30 to, 8:30, 9:30? I don't know. Whatever it is, there's a pre-show one.
9 to 10.
9 to 10, thank you. Can't do math. It might be 8:30 and 9:30 for some reason, though. I feel like someone told me that, but we'll correct it. And then Sunday, we'll have our post-BFG show. So stay tuned to that. We'll put it online so you guys can see it, but that is our final thing. Hope you tune in for all of them. Now, back to your regularly scheduled program.
Yep, we are on the road to Bound for Glory, one stop away. So let's kick off this week's hot topics, starting off with, of course, Impact on Access TV. Show opened with El Fantasma punching his ticket to Bound for Glory in the triple threat for the vacant X Division Championship by defeating Willie Mack and Rohit Raju. Savannah Evans defeated Lady Frost to excuse me. At the end of the match, John Perazzo came out to choose Mickey James's poison for next week, being Savannah Evans. Rich Swann defeated VSK. Chris Sabin defeated Chris Bay. W. Morrissey defeated Chris Sabin in the final 2 of the Battle Royal to find out who will be entering the Coil Shot Gauntlet at number 20 and number 1. W. Morrissey will, of course, be entering number 20, meaning Chris Sabin will be starting the Coil Shot at number 1. And then for the main event segment, we had an announcement from Impact, a little video package. The Murder Grandpa, Minoru Suzuki, is coming to Impact Wrestling at the next set of TV tapings after Bound for Glory. And in the main event segment, we had the summit of Josh Alexander and Christian Cage. Also on the show, a little letter from the normal contenders to the Impact Knockouts Tag Team Championships, the IInspiration, to Gail Kim, as well as the Good Brothers making an ultimatum to Impact regarding a match being made for next week, with the Bullet Club facing Finn Juice for the number one contenderships for the Impact World Tag Team Championships. Thoughts, feelings on the show, moment of the night, match of the night, and how we feel about the IInspiration getting this tag title shot this soon. Jeff, kick us off this week.
Yeah, so I have a lot written down just because I know we're going to go to post BFG and we're going to talk about a lot of this as well as the surprises for BFG at least when it includes the IInspiration. But to hit on that, to hit that right off the bat, because I see a lot of people back and forth. I think if they had just gotten the title shot and it was not a throwaway, but they just debuted and that was it, and they win them or they don't, whatever it may be, I thought it would be a wasted opportunity. So I really like this segment of just something simple, like a letter that sounded very, I won't say heelish, but I'm better than you, which I really dig. I saw a lot of people say, "Oh, they're just the beautiful people, light." No, you've got to be kidding me. They are. You've got to be joking me. What did she say? They aren't. They're going to be something different. I think maybe there's going to be a lot of comparisons, obviously, to both attractive women that have that kind of personality. At least that's what they play. But I think they're going to be a more unique group. So I'm really excited about that. But I'm okay with them getting the title shot right away, because if they are on this tour, if they are on this lap of, hey, we're free agent. Well, we're not free agents anymore, but hey, we're out from WWE. We're here. We're recognizable. We have this music going. We have our podcast going. All these things. It could not hurt to have them have the Impact World Tag Team titles. We all know they're going to win them one day. Is what it is. You can easily say, because they said they well deserved, in their contracts, they just signed with Impact, that could be something that was a stipulation. It could be easily written off if Scott just said, hey, that was part of the deal. Whatever. So I don't mind it right there. I prefer they don't win, but I just think it makes too much sense for them not to. So we'll keep an eye there. Suzuki is coming. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. ELP1, I wrote that down specifically because I'm very happy with the fact that every person in this X Division vacant title match at Bound for Glory has never won the X Division title. So no matter who wins, no matter if it's your favorite person or your least favorite person on that group, we still have a first-time X Division champion, a fresh start, and I really like that. So I like the Moose and Morrissey thing paying off. I really thought Battle Royal was a interesting way to crown the 1 in 20. I thought it had high-stakes feel to it. I think it did its job there of not just saying, hey, you're 1 year 20, we picked it out of a hat, like other places. So I enjoyed that. But I liked the group of Moose and Morrissey making it to the final 3. I thought it made a lot of sense. And I like that for Sabin as well. It looks like they're building him up. Obviously beat Bay, which I wasn't expecting per se. But they hold Sabin in a high regard, which I really dig now. And then the Summit. So I said this on Twitter, and it's corny, but I'm going to say it again. I usually don't like Summits, because usually Summit's pretty good, Summit's pretty shitty, right? It's not always, it's just like you're sitting there and they're talking and they're threatening. I like this because Christian has been mentioning for a couple weeks now, if not more, that Josh's attitude, emotions, the out-of-range emotions that he has on a whim is really what he's going to take advantage of as a veteran in this matchup. I thought the Summit did a great job of showing that. I know a lot of people said, oh, Josh looks weak. Look, I think all of us know that, or assume Josh is going to win at Bound for Glory. We assume Christian's going to go back. I liked the veteran Christian getting the one-up here, especially if he's going to lose, to make it look like he has some kind of a chance and he has a weakness. Josh Alexander has a weakness that we haven't seen before. Because if you ask someone, what is Josh Alexander's weakness, if you've watched him since it, what is it? What is his Achilles heel that, or his hair, Samson's hair, what is it that is going to get him caught without looking like he's below Christian? So if he does lose, it's good to have him something to overcome. But I think it would be very good, and I wasn't there, obviously, so I don't know if this happens. I think it would be very good if he comes out at the end of this next show and says, look, I got my emotions in check. What now, bitch? Like this is on. Me, you, let's go. And I think that's something that could happen. So overall, great show. I'm glad Evans is getting that rub. Savannah Evans, man, she as D'Lo said about her booking, she needs to get her legs under her first, but she's got a lot of talent, untapped potential, and she's showing it. And then, last but not least, Swingers Palace. It's gone. A bullet was put in its head, at least for the Vegas tapings. Maybe they'll find ways to work him in there, but obviously the Swingerellas shot their shot with Swinger and Sabin and struck out. I love Sabin closing out the place with the lights and it just another example of this new Impact creative team, or this new focus of the Impact creative team, to create continuity, beginning, ends for everything, even if it doesn't need it. but this obviously did. I think a lot of people like Swingers Palace. Saw a lot of shirts. I see a lot of them on the daily when you watch Impact. So we love you, Swinger. Glad you made the top 10. But Max.
I thought it was a good match. I thought it was a good episode. I was happy El Phantasmo won. I do agree that it's nice that everybody that's going to be in that match has never won it. I still think it's going to be Trey. Like, based off the way it breaks, I just feel like Trey's the one who's going to win it. But I wouldn't mind El Phantasmo winning. I like him a lot. And it gives him a reason to come back to Impact if he's actually an X Division champion. So I really liked that. I really liked a lot of the backstage segments. The thing with the, I keep wanting to call them the Iconics, but the Inspiration, that it came off very heelish to me. And you said it was, it did. To me, they're going to be the same group or the same like characters they were in WWE. Like, that's going to be their general thing. And they were so good at it. So it's nice that they're going to come in and just be that group. Do I think they win? I don't know. It'd be interesting to have them win right away and then kind of go on a run. It also would be interesting for them not to win and maybe feud with I keep wanting to say Emma, with Tenille and Madison and them. But that would kind of be two heel groups going at it, and I don't necessarily know how good of a feud that would be, but it would still be interesting to see that like kind of dynamic between them. So I don't really know there. I really liked Deonna coming out and, like you said, with giving that like, hey, I've seen you. Mickey got to pick my opponent, made me do this. You're the one that I want to pick. I really liked the rub that you give to a newer person, and just the way it was Deonna treating her with respect and being like, hey, I've seen the stuff you did. Let me go ahead and put you against Mickey James. And it's smart, because if you're thinking about this in the grand scheme of like actual fights or wrestling, if I want to put my opponent up against somebody, Friday? So 2 days before they're going to wrestle me, I want it to be the biggest, strongest. Like, it's like if this was back in the day, I'm picking Abyss to go up against him because I know it's going to be a brawl. So I really liked that in like the storytelling wise. I also liked Heath's segment where he was talking about him and Rhino versus BB, and it's like, hey, Rhino may not actually be your partner. He's like, you know what? I know this isn't the animal that we've seen were you seeing. I like that because it does. I think we have talked about it, like maybe Heath turns, or maybe Rhino comes and helps him, but it's really going to be a setup to see. And we'll talk about it more when the Bound for Glory, how I think that's going to go. But I thought that was really well done. The Swingers Palace I thought was fun. I definitely liked the Swingerellas shooting their shots. My favorite one was the Chris Sabin one, because him kind of sitting there like reminiscing and everything. That was great. And I know someone mentioned the Ginyu Force. The reason why I have the Ginyu Force behind me is because Brian Myers' group, when they walk out, I don't want them to strike Ginyu Force poses. Like, that's what they remind me of when they're walking out. I'm like, man, these motherfuckers, there's a Ginyu Force. That's exactly who they remind me of. And then I liked the Good Brothers segment with kind of them pushing. It's still a possibility that it is Bullet Club wins it and then we get that swerve. But I liked that they were kind of like, hey, like, what do we have to do to figure out who the hell we're facing? And then in the last part with the summit, the most interesting thing, and it was hard for me to hear, but it was when they went to the clip of Christian at the AEW press conference, and they were like, oh, who do you want to fight outside of AEW? And like, I'm 99% sure they said Josh Alexander, and he was like, who's that? But I couldn't hear what the person said, so I'm like 99% sure it was Josh Alexander, but I was like, I thought that was a good twist.
It was
because
it was our buddy Christine. She actually was the one that she was the one that said Josh Alexander. Yeah.
Okay. So, but I like the fact they did that, because with him being like, who is that? It puts a little bit of heelishness in Christian. And he's a really good heel. So if you kind of get where like Josh has his emotions, if Christian's going to play on those, it kind of works for his like get a little bit heelish to continue to play. So I like that. And then Morrissey entering last. I'm gonna say first. I think that works. That's always going to be an interesting thing because anytime you get big guys, him, Moose, it's always interesting how do you get them out of the ring, expect when they're monsters. So I think it was overall. I thought it was a really good episode. I liked where it was going. I think it set a lot of stuff up for Bound for Glory well, and I'm interested to see next episode like how they tie things together and what actually does happen with the Bullet Club thing. Are we going to see? Oh, I don't. How is that going to play out? It's going to actually be.
That's something I think we'll
Guerrillas of Destiny, or
touch on.
Is there going to be like a swerve?
I do have the question for you. So, favorite segment, least favorite segment, because we got obviously unbiased and transparent here.
My favorite segment, match-wise, my favorite segment was the El Phantasmo match. I really like that, begin to end. Least favorite, I don't like seeing Chris Bay lose, so I'll go with that. That was probably just because I like Chris Bay a lot. I almost wish that he would be in the triple threat instead of El Phantasmo, just because I really like him. But I like the three they have, so that's probably what I would go with as my least favorite.
For me, segment wise, if we're going to do it that route, I would have said Swingers Palace. Loved it. Bittersweet. If we were to say match Bay versus Sabin, the Chris's killed it. Didn't care who won, honestly, because I thought it was great. The thing that I didn't like the most, and I won't touch on it, but so much, is that I love Battle Royals. We got to see one in person right before Emergence to claim Brian Myers as the number one contender. I'm such a sucker for Battle Royals that I don't want the gimmick to be ruined by everyone in the ring all at once. Oh, we'll just throw people. It just punches. It gets kind of repetitive. It gets kind of not as important. Obviously, Call Your Shot will be more important, and that's what this was for, but just for all intents and purposes, I get why they're getting everyone on the show. I'm surprised the Young Bucks didn't pop up in it and just smile for an extra $250, but I guess those days are done. All right, Craig.
Yeah, so over on this past week on the Impact Press Pass, the Good Brothers mentioned that more surprises coming to Impact and Bound for Glory. Who do we expect to see? Who would we like to see? And this is a good tactic by Impact and the Good Brothers. Max.
So I would love to see Guerrillas of Destiny. I still think that's a possibility with the way everything went at New Japan. I think I keep wanting to call it Resurgence, but I don't know if that's the actual official name. But New Japan or whatever it was, their pay-per-view, they set up for it perfectly, and this is the perfect time. Like, if you're gonna do eventually a Bullet Club versus the Elite, the Bullet Club, like, getting that first strike of we won titles now just gives you more reason for it to continue to go. I would also love to see, I don't know what his actual Buddy
Matthews.
Buddy Matthews. I would love to see him. To me, I've said it multiple times for years, going back to our original podcast, the guy's an absolute star. Yeah. And if him in Impact, and he would shine in Impact in the X division, going against guys like Bay, El Phantasmo, Trey, like all those guys, he would absolutely shine. Him and Josh Alexander would be probably a match of the year. So those are probably the two, or I guess three, if you consider a tag team, ones that I would most like to see. I would like to see a knockout debut. I just don't know who's out there that hasn't signed, like a complete random. But I don't know who there is that's out there. Like, I can't think of anybody that's recently been released. Maybe a ROH crossover, or like something like Okada showing up just to continue that crossover with New Japan would be nice as well. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think the usual suspects are on the tip of my tongue, or have written down as well. I think Matthews shows up in some capacity. Call Your Shot, maybe. I think the same with Braun, the Titan, or whatever he wants to be called. Is it going to be something he's already put in the main event spot? Josh wins, he comes out. Christian wins, he comes out. Or is it he's in the battle as well? The Battle Royal, make it more important. So I have them two in there. Inspiration, obvious now, because they're going to be in a match. I don't know if you call it a surprise, but I would think that there's going to be a lot of those people who will be in the next tapings. Not necessarily Suzuki, but Mercedes Martinez and Daniels. And these people, they have to be worked in. I mean, if they're already going to be in Vegas, is there a possibility they make some kind of appearance at the Call Your Shot? We also have 2 matches, and we'll get to that later. We have 2 matches still to fill with this week's Impact on Access, so we'll see. But I still think we get G.O.D. The way they were talking on the press pass, obviously we didn't make it in time. We watched it, but we'll be on the next one. When I think it is the Inspiration, if I'm not mistaken.
It's Josh Alexander.
Oh, it's William Mack.
Josh Alexander.
Oh,
But
Josh Alexander.
I call the Inspiration.
And
I'm calling the Inspiration.
yeah, the Inspiration. So, yeah, you know, the one I do want to touch on, and I know we'll go to post-BFG with that, is Bray, but I'll hold my thoughts for that there. But I would say that G.O.D., and obviously we're going to talk about on the card itself, but I'm going to stick with our initial thought that Bullet Club wins this, and then when they say, hey, Bullet Club's turn to come out, the problem with that is, though, the champions always come out first, or second, excuse me, so I don't know how they're going to do that unless it's more of an open, so we'll see how that plays out, but I think it would be smart if the Good Brothers come out first and say, all right, we're ready to, let's get this, you know, whatever, and then Bullet Club hits, G.O.D. comes out, or at least is introduced by Bay or something of that nature. So, yeah, I think the surprises, I don't know if they're going to be, he said, what did he say? Huge or something. He gave a term off that made it seem like it was going to be something more than we already believe. Now, if we already believe Braun and Buddy and all those, maybe that's what he's referring to, and just us marks are already thinking we're in the know. So, I don't know. I mean, could it be more than that? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Tony Nese or someone of that stature pop up as well. Someone funny, maybe like a Fandango or something, or Dirty Dango, whatever his name is now. So I think there should be some interesting things, but I don't know if there's anything. If there is something big or monumental, Okada is obviously a huge get. Obviously, Ospreay's going to MLW, which, yeah. So we'll see. But here's what I will say. Even if it's just Bronson Reed, I think would be a great addition. He said he's looking at 2 different places, which means whoever he's thinking of is either Forbidden Door or allowed to freelance. Yeah, Jay White would be great. So I think there's a lot of people, but I wouldn't put our expectations too outside the box besides for what we've already mentioned. But either way, it's top to bottom. I mean, we've already named 5 people that I didn't think would ever touch foot in an Impact ring. So happy with it. You can't be mad.
Some big stuff coming, hopefully. But moving on to number 3. It was announced this past week, after the signing of Marcin Slamovich, that Impact Wrestling has signed a new distribution deal with Russia and the Commonwealth. It's Extreme Sports Network in Russia, expanding over multiple territories. It has been made clear that this isn't the distribution deal that Len Asper was talking about. But is this a big thing? Is it important? Obviously, it's not major, but is it important in the grand scheme of things? Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, it is major. Simply because our claim to, even in the shitty years, or the less popular years, our claim to staying alive and claim to being recognized by anybody as a major promotion was all across the pond and that way to the east. We, as the States, have failed Impact in some ways, or not failed. We've people have gone and liked other things, and for some of it with good reason. So anytime you can add more countries to the 160 or 20, whatever it is that it was previously and is now growing, it doesn't hurt the cause. Now, is it major in the sense of, is it going to change our day-to-day operations? Is it going to change how people look at us? Probably not. Is it a lot of money? I don't think so. I did a little digging on Extreme Sports, that channel, that it is going to be whatever, and it doesn't look like it's a major thing. But at the same time, even if it's $1, which I doubt it is, $1 from another country of whatever amount of people watching us is better than nothing. Our goal right now is not to pick and choose, maybe a state's deal, pick and choose, but across, let's just get our product everywhere we can, including the UK, and make this company just cast a net. That's what we have to do right now. We have to cast a net and see what it brings back, because we can't be picky on where we get our fans from. We have obviously Russian listeners here. Maybe they already knew the deal, or maybe it's Masha, but hey, welcome aboard. We're glad you get to see it. And not just on clips. I do want to mention that. We talk a lot about ratings or people caring about ratings. What's interesting is Impact cracked down on a lot of these people who have Impact on Access TV best of clips everywhere. I see people with 20 to 30,000 views on them and stuff. So I think Impact is getting noticed, even if people don't want to subscribe to Impact itself, because I don't know, they don't have the balls to, or whatever it is. But I would be silly to say that this does nothing but help, because it does. That's what it does.
I agree. I mean, I think that anytime you get into a new country, it's a big deal, because, like you said, that's the thing that just helps you stay afloat if something happens. And even like you said, it may not be millions and millions of dollars, but it might be enough to sign one additional talent. So if the money from this is why you bring in the Inspiration or Buddy Matthews, or say, hey, New Japan, can we get Okada? We'll cover the costs of him staying over here for like, it's stuff like that, to where that's the type of stuff you have to look at. It's when you're trying to build your roster, and like you said, when it comes to the US, you need a big distribution deal, because that's where the majority of your money could potentially come from, like as a one single country. But when you're looking at other countries, if you're adding on Russia, $100,000, let's just say, okay, Finland, Spain, like just little things like that, they add up over time. So just continuing to get those out there and getting to a point where, like you said, we're the number one wrestling promotion in Russia, most watched. Okay, cool. Like, those things matter, because then if you do decide to take a trip overseas, you draw fans, because people from different countries, like, oh, I love watching Impact. I want to go there. So definitely, I think it's a good thing for them. And I do think that it's just one of those things that you continue to do, and it continues to show that Impact has a mind on growth, which is probably the most important thing, is that they're continuing to look to grow. They're not just stagnant and saying we're happy where we're at, even though it may not necessarily be in the U.S. Other places are looking to grow and looking to spread their reach.
That's a great point. Great point.
Yeah. So moving on now to number 4. Of course, it was announced that Minoru Suzuki will be at the post-Bound for Glory tapings on the 24th to the 25th, I believe, or 26th. Of course, obviously the Inspiration will be there as well. And at Bound for Glory, we may get some new people show up who will also be there. So can these next set of TV tapings after Bound for Glory be on the level in terms of surprise factor and crowd reaction of the Raw after WrestleMania? And can it, and how do Impact get to that level, Max?
I definitely think excitement level, to an extent, they can be. I mean, one of the big things about the Raw after WrestleMania is the amount of people that are in that stadium in the Raw after WrestleMania. You're obviously not going to pack 20,000 people into wherever, so not going to have that. But I do think that there can be, if you get a good venue, you get it packed with people who are excited about Impact, and you start bringing things up, I definitely think it can be a big, like, must watch. Like, oh, we need to watch at least the one directly after, to be like, okay, what are they setting up for after Bound for Glory? I think if you're smart, outside of the new people coming in, some of the things I'd like to see at the post Bound for Glory tapings. I'd like to see some more of the Forbidden Door. One with the Knockouts division. I want to see some people from AEW not coming over to wrestle for titles, just random matches. Give me random AEW people versus random Impact people so that the Knockouts get to kind of get viewed in this light of, okay, this is what they can do for the people who may not have seen them. And I'd also like to see Jon Moxley come over. I think he's someone who, not someone who's going to stay permanently, but I think he's someone that if he comes over and announces a match in a week or two, I think that's going to draw eyes because he is a big name. And I think he's a different type of like draw than Kenny Omega is, because he puts on some pretty gritty matches. And if you put him against, certain people in Impact, I think that would be like him versus Josh Alexander, if they're willing to have him, would just be a really good match that would get people's eyes on the product. So I think it can be. It's definitely going to be exciting. I think the pay-per-view, it looks amazing. And if there's any type of surprises in that pay-per-view, it's going to get people excited for the following taping. So I definitely think that's going to happen. But I do think that, if you bring in a few other that maybe weren't shown at Bound for Glory, that would help.
Yeah. I think, and I think I was saying in there, it's the road to Turning Point. As soon as Bound for Glory ends, it is the road to Turning Point. It's live. It means something. Impact's investing time and effort into that these Impact Plus shows. So yeah, it's the road to Turning Point, and who's going to be taken along on that road? Who shows up at Bound for Glory and is there at that taping? What I'm more interested in seeing is what the landscape of Impact Wrestling looks like after Bound for Glory. Because just say what you will, people, they're hyped. That Knockouts division is growing and resettling and creating new challengers. You have Mercedes Martinez, who's guaranteed to get a title shot at this taping, I imagine, is where they're not going to wait another 2 months for it. So you got her. That's a guarantee. What is Daniels doing there? Is he the first challenger for the world title? He keeps mentioning it. I think he goes a different route, but we'll talk about that in just a second. What is Braun doing? What is Buddy doing? Where are these people, and
what happens with the Inspiration?
What happens with the Inspiration? Do they win? Does another feud start? So there's a lot of great storytelling to be played here, and if they handle it right, it's going to be can't miss. Will I say that if the ratings don't go through the roof that it was a missed opportunity? No. I still feel that Access TV and Impact are what they are on Thursday nights at 8 or 8:30 on YouTube Insider. It is what it is. There's people that DVR it, and until we know the +3s, the +7s, all of that stuff, including gauging the online views and subscriptions, it doesn't matter to me. If the company's growing and getting deals elsewhere, if the company's getting advertisement elsewhere, let's just focus on the actual product. And I really think the actual product is going to be pretty big after Bound for Glory. The one thing that I need to keep harping on, because I've been saying it since Slammiversary, and more things come up, I think Bray Wyatt will be at Turning Point. One, it's live. Yeah, that could just be whatever. But I told you guys from Slammiversary on that I think Su Yung is pregnant. Okay? The actual person. Okay? Her and Rich just did a photo shoot where she was wearing a big sweater, pulling it out, never anything too tight. Like I said before, everything coming from her now is only from this down. When they do a thing backstage, she's eating souls, not wrestling. I don't want to spoil it, or I don't want to jinx it. God bless them if it's true. I'm happy for them. But I think that's something to look out for. Especially since her pinned tweet says, "I loved you, ... And it's from September 14th, and it's been there since, has no other instance, whatever. Well, what was Bray Wyatt's post tweet 2 days ago? It was that Daniels quote, but about feeding the baby birds. I'm telling you, Bray Wyatt's the father of her child. And not in real life, obviously, but in the show, I think that is something we're going to see. I think we're going to see not Yowie Wowie Bray. We're going to see a Wyndham, the cult of Wyndham, which is going to be something I think the Undead Bride I don't know, man. I just have this feeling that that's going to happen. Doesn't mean I'm right. Maybe she's not. I hope that she, for her sake, everything goes wonderfully. But that's going to be a badass storyline if that's the case. I think it would be funnier if it was Rosemary's Baby, but I like where this is going, and if that's him, that tweet was very suspicious. We posted on ours. If you don't know what we're talking about, at TNAIW channel, go look at it. We retweeted it. Some interesting stuff to come, but I don't want to bank on it, but I would look for Bray Wyatt at Turning Point.
That would be interesting.
Hope.
I'm going to stick with it. I got to stick with it. I can't... Well, we have a little bit of time, Craig. Before we get to number 5, why don't you touch on your feelings real quick, and let's go to that pin commercial just to give us a little bit of break since we have a lot of time, and then we'll get right into Bound for Glory, the card again.
Yeah, so my feelings, first on Impact, great episode, love the summit. I mean, Suzuki coming in, hell yes, I've been wanting this since the Forbidden Door opened. Since Impact came to reconcile with New Japan, I've wanted Suzuki to come to Impact. I want him versus Moose. I feel sorry for Sami Callihan that he can't be there to face him because, again, it would be an insane match.
Yeah.
As for his TV deal, I have heard that in Russia, pro wrestling isn't really a major thing, which would explain why this TV deal isn't that lucrative financially. But hey, if it boosts Impact's numbers worldwide, then hey, no, it's not my money. Don't want it.
Yeah, fair enough.
I guess we could get to the pretty cool pin commercial.
Yeah. Let's get to the pins commercial. We'll be right back in a minute and 20 seconds.
Because what you have with us is not only the best tag team in the world, fact.
Come back to the Impact Zone as the Impact World Champion.
Because I'm the most professional wrestler.
A referee decides when I'm done, tell me when I can't go no more, when I know I got plenty left.
I'm the virtuosa. I am the greatest technical women's wrestler in the world.
Oh, cut off. Oh well. If you like that stupidity, please tune in. Well, actually, let's get back to that real quick so I can re-up that. Thursday will be another something similar, but a much longer. Go back and watch this old wrestling shit because we'll be unboxing Series 2 and 3 of the trading cards, the Impact trading cards, on Thursday, followed by Family Game Night, which is the unofficial Impact board game we created digital. That's a good time. And then our preview show on Saturday and our post show on Sunday. So get those out there.
Are you aware that Suzuki has 2 wins in MMA over Ken Shamrock?
I think our buddy Mike was actually mentioning that he wanted that match, Shamrock versus...
So it would be their 4th match. Suzuki won the first 2. I'm looking to find the 3rd with Mr. Shamrock.
That's interesting. Before we get to Bound for Glory card, where we're going to talk and hit Bound for Glory, tell us our opinions there. The trivia from our audio listeners, I apologize. Last week's answer or question was who arrived on 10-10-10. The answer was they, obviously, but who were they? What were the people that showed up or that came together? And it was Hardy, Abyss, Jarrett, Hogan and Bischoff. This week's question is, how many countries has Bound for Glory taken place in? All right. So write us with that. We always love it. We're always looking for people to participate in those family game nights. At Board Games Archer thing, we have a bunch of other things there. And then you'll see a lot of us tweeting out other people's that we're friends with, including Hakeem there, who's in the chat promoting his stuff there. There's going to be a lot of great Impact content from a lot of people who've been doing this for a very long time, through thick and thin. So please check them out, even if it's not us. Support the community. That's our gig. Let's get to Bound for Glory.
Yeah, so you have about 15 minutes. I want to get your guys' thoughts and feelings on the card. And I want to know what you think, or how you think Impact can make this show one of their very best under the new regime, as most pay-per-views under the Anthem regime seem to top the one before. It's very rare that it doesn't. As I say, Impact in general, their shows are on a level.
Yeah.
They never drop below, they always go above, but they never drop below that certain level. So, what was the card so far? We have Josh Alexander versus Christian Cage, Don Peraza, Mickey James, X Division Championship Triple Threat, the Coil Shot Gauntlet, the K vs Inspiration, Good Brothers versus either Bullet Club or Finn Juice, Heath and Rhino versus VBD, and I'm sure there's more to be announced. But again, so to Max, thoughts and feelings on this card, and what can Impact do to make this the biggest show of the year?
So, I think so far it's a really good card. I think with the Battle Royal, there's a possibility for some good surprises, which are always fun. I was looking at the card and wondering if you need another knockouts match, but then I remembered I was looking at the thing, and you have the Impact Digital Media Championship,
right,
which, by the way, I like to point out, since the previous week, it is no longer the worst named title in wrestling. I enjoy it more after some other titles have come out. But with that, there are knockouts in that match,
right,
so I don't necessarily know if you need another knockout. I mean, so what I would like to see is I would like to see a New Japan match. I had mentioned Jay White defending his title against someone. I'd like to see that, or some type of New Japan, just hey, this is just a match. It's New Japan. Let's show what they can do, and just kind of show our teamwork there. As for another match after that, I don't know. It's so hard because we don't know who's going to be in the Battle Royal. Yeah. I would really honestly love another tag match where somehow we get the Wolves back versus some old versus America's Most Wanted or something that. But I feel like there has to be some type of setup for that. So I guess maybe in the Gauntlet match those guys reconnect somehow, but a New Japan match, and then I don't know what else I would want to really add it in. That's kind of where I'm.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I keep up and down, and it is a stacked card. It already is, and we've only had 7 matches announced, or excuse me, 6 matches officially announced. 1 being on the pre-show, which you already mentioned, which I'll hit up first, and then a Good Brothers match that's obviously in the cards, but we don't know what it is. So with the pre-show match with the DM title, I'm still cool with it. I like it. It's growing on me. I like how Impact put on their Champions page, they have the X Division title parallel to this title, so it's interesting saying that it is not necessarily equal, but it is a middle belt. Television, I think, being obviously under that. Yeah, I don't know about Chris Harris either, unfortunately. But with that said, Skylar, Grace, Ba, and Crazy Steve have all advanced. We have 2 matches coming, which I believe Tennille and Madison are in both, or in one of each. And I just feel like this is where you put the influence. I said it from day one. This title makes sense the most for Tenille, seeing that she has an insane following on social media. But this is a intergender title. So I think the most sense, if you want to make a splash, is give it to Jordynne Grace, who is obviously starting her bikinis and bods or whatever it's called, and muscles or whatever it is, breaking the internet.
Barbells and bikinis.
Yeah. God bless her. So give it to her, because if a guy beats her eventually, I don't think that's as big of a deal if you're putting Tenille against a insert Falaba or
Moose.
Yeah, whoever it could be. So I'd like to see Grace win that. So the Call Your Shot Battle Royal, so far we have Swan, Myers, Moose, Morrissey, Sabin, and Edwards announced. Edwards has been officially announced. So that hurts our thing with the Wolves prediction back in the day. But
yeah,
I see a lot of big names going into this. Look at that. I mean, none of those guys are sleepers. I could see a lot of surprises in it. But where do you put Ace? Where do you put Bay? These are two of your, I would say, 3 or 4, what will be your pillars of your younger guys. Where do they fit in here? Is this where, it's not G.O.D. and it's Bay and Hikuleo versus the Good Brothers? We don't know. We'll see. I think there's a lot of tag team matches, though. I think there's Decay and Inspiration, Good Brothers and somebody, Heath and somebody versus VBD, which I'd be interested if it wasn't Rhino. Who will that be? I think that's something to look forward to look out for. Is there...
To be fair, Chris Harris getting arrested really just fits pretty well in with that America's Most Wanted. So maybe he is coming back and he's just setting this up.
He's living the gimmick?
No? Yeah, man. I mean, maybe he's like, you know what? This is the way. He'll break out of jail and then he'll show up at Bound for Glory and literally be No?
I love Chris Harris.
No?
It was obviously a mistake.
Okay.
Drinking and driving is never a good thing. But no, I don't think he's living the gimmick, my friend. But yeah, we have matches, singles matches for titles. We have a triple threat for titles, 2 vacant titles, all titles on the line, a battle royal. I just want to see something different. If 8th or 9th match, I just want it to be something completely out of the realm. A hardcore match, I know that's overdone, but something, not a cage match, obviously, not Ultimate X.
King of the Mountain, maybe?
I would love a King of the Mountain, but all belts are already accounted for, unless the DM title is a King of the Mountain match, which would be funny and ironic. But, so we don't know. Thank you for the update, Datia. Suzuki, I don't know if he shows up at Bound for Glory. I feel like they announced him for the tapings, and maybe maybe he does show up at the Battle Royal and start something with Eddie. Who knows? But
Suzuki has a match at GCW that night.
Okay. Well, there we go.
In LA.
Yeah. So, I think they give the Call Your Shot Battle Royal enough time, so I could see only 8 matches happening. You have to fit Ace in somewhere on the card. Are they going in the Call Your Shot as well?
I thought they were, because Ace had mentioned that he was going to win, and then
he said he was going to win.
He was going to win and then enter 20, and then Fulton was going to be 1 and run. So I think they're going to be in the Call Your Shot, kind of based off of what
it makes sense. I was obviously hoping for that Daniels Ace match, but maybe I don't think we're going to get that right now. With Heath, the one thing I do want to mention, because I'm still hoping the storytelling works, I like that we don't know if Rhino's on his side or not. Stretch it out. Let the anticipation build. Does someone else come out to help him? Do they not? I prefer, though, Rhino does go full face and helps Heath. He goes to tag Heath, and Heath just drops down and pieces the fuck out. Because, look, if I and Max were in a tag team, or we were just doing this podcast, and then another podcast came over and beat the shit out of Max and took him out for a year, and then I said, well, get better soon, Max, and join that other podcast, I would expect Max to be a little bit irritated, especially if I haven't talked to him since he got in the hospital, which is what Rhino, or Heath is saying about Rhino. So just keep an eye out for there, because, hey, friends or not, I mean, that's a little, he already got his contract. He doesn't need Rhino anymore, so look out for something interesting there. I hope they do.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be one of those things where no one comes out to start, and Heath is in like a 2-on-1, and then Rhino then Rhino's like up at the entrance way. Like, you see him like fighting
Right.
with it, and then he comes running down and helps. I feel like that's the
And
way it's going
everyone's
to end up
gonna cheer.
happening. Yeah, but I do think it would be funny if he was just like, nah, bitch,
deuces.
I'm violent by design
Yep.
now.
But-
Which would even be even weirder.
Who
but-
cares? They beat him into. He took his beating, the initiation beating. Oh man. Well, all I know is But to end that real quick, 8. I know we're short on time. I just want something, like I said, that's different. What that is, I don't know. If you guys have any info on there or thoughts, excuse me. Let me word it that way. What kind of thoughts do you have as different, maybe gimmick matches or something outside the box? Obviously.
Well, how about someone suggested it? I don't know what to make of it, but Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green versus Effie and Ali Catch.
Do you put that on your Bound for Glory card? Is that big enough to appease anyone that's not in your core audience? I just don't think someone's going to say, oh, Effie, let me tune in and watch him face Matt Cardona. I just don't think that happens. I want to see a Cardona and Chelsea Green turn.
I wouldn't mind seeing like an empty arena match, like Jon Moxley versus Eddie Edwards. Empty, like just something different. But I mean, obviously, like I'm just looking at that would be more. But I'm trying to think of like empty arena matches are fun when done correctly. But you have to have the right two guys to go at it. I don't know who that would be.
And an empty arena. Which
well, I mean, yeah, but you can film it. You can film it before.
Yeah. Well, I just think that 1 week, 1 episode left. They're not going to just throw a match together. So if anyone could take a look, actually, they updated the roster page recently, and they even separated Larry D from AC Romero and kicked off Triple XL on there. So Larry D seems to be sticking around. So that prediction of Larry D joining VBD could possibly happen. I think it's a good fit.
Could an Undead Realm match with them do something?
I'd really love for that to happen. One, because I still don't think Sue can wrestle, and I don't mean that as in a actually has the talent. I mean, I don't think she physically is allowed to right now, if my guess is right. But it would be a nice way to work her in, work that Undead Brides in, and do something. How do you do that so quickly? I don't know.
So it would never happen. But it's Ethan Page in the Undead Realm because he's dead.
Right. Yeah, I said
that's what you like. That would be the best way to do it. Is be like him there because he's.
I said
dead.
they should do a talking shop or some kind of podcast in the Undead Realm, and Ethan's the guest, Kiera's the guest, Allie.
Yeah, like that shit would be great. I'm looking to see
who's not there. I mean, you also got to figure we have 1, 2, 3, 6. Say you put Ace and Fulton in there. That's another 2. We have 12 more spots to fill and call your shot. We have 2 maybe more things there. Heath needs a partner. Good Brothers need a face.
Yeah, I mean it's.
How about?
I think this may be the show.
Wow.
I think if you're given time,
it's possible.
I mean, if you think 8 matches total, including the pre-show, so that's 1 on the pre-show plus 7 matches. You're looking at a 3-hour show. I mean,
sorry, someone's suggesting that James Storm throw Mickey back in front of that bus or that train. That's good shit.
So let's see. So it's 3-hour show,
3-hour
right?
show, not including the pre-show.
So, yeah. So that would be 7 matches.
I mean, the Battle Royals.
I mean, that's
take a
20. I'm gonna say that's 26 minutes a match. If you're thinking that each entrance usually takes 3 minutes a piece, so now you're probably looking somewhere around 20 minutes a match. And you're gonna probably have some segments with some new people showing up. You may have some after stuff. So
Kong's introduction or
Kong's induction is going to be the. So, I mean, that's probably it. That's probably your 8th match. So I mean So I think this is probably going to be your card. The Good Brothers. I mean, you may. And I just think there's probably going to be some people showing up. This will probably be your card. I don't think they'll add anything.
I'd be
else.
okay with that. Simply because look at the names as we just mentioned who are already in that Call Your Shot Battle Royal. If you put the Cardonas and the Rohits and all these people and the Aces and the Bays that we're saying, what are they going to do with them? If you put them in there and it's not just thrown in there, these are all, anyone could win this gauntlet. I think that's a good place to be. I think you
Yeah,
up that, you build that
exactly.
commodity, and I think they're doing that. Yeah, so if it is this, it is this, and I think I'd be okay with that. But one thing I want to...
Especially, I was saying, especially if Impact want this gauntlet, the cultural gauntlet, to feel like a Rumble type thing. You need the big guys in there. You want them to have that opportunity.
Right. And one other thing with the Heath thing, is there anyone from? I know this is a throwback. Obviously, 3MB, they're all signed. With the, what about Nexus? What was his Nexus? Was he in? Right? Is there anyone there? Is there anyone that from that old?
He wants to reform Nexus and Impact.
Dude, if CM Punk would come walking out,
To be-
do you know, like, the world would just explode. If, like, CM, he's like, you know what, I got somebody, and Cult of Personality
He
hits,
said-
like, that shit would just, it would be over.
He said,
like,
you know what? I've been shitting on TNA since my run there. I think I want to give it a shot. Let me be Heath's partner.
see, there you go, man. He's like, you know what?
No.
What's the best way for me to come back? I'm gonna be Heath's partner.
man.
I'm gonna say one name. Fred Russell.
Oh, that is a good option.
The former Darren Young.
He was obviously in. Oh, there we go. Someone right in there. He was in obviously Nexus. Familiar with Heath. Obviously in New Japan. Gave who was it? Him and Josh had a banger. Was it Josh?
I thought he was making $1 million moves, or is that
Oh,
now?
he is. He is in New Japan though. He's talented, man. I gotta give it to him. He reinvigorated his career, man. Good for him. So yeah,
Didn't he team up with Bob Backlund in WWE at one point?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Give Darren Young a chance.
All right, so it was the new Nexus, right?
No,
That's
the
fine.
core.
Darren
He was
Young-
in both, I believe.
Darren Young was OG Nexus. Yeah.
All right, so the members are this. Let's see who it
Oh,
could
not
possibly
Heath.
be.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Wade Barrett.
Can't.
What's Daniel Bryan
I
up
don't
to?
know.
Brian Danielson. He's not
I
doing
haven't heard from him
anything.
in a while.
Darren Young. Skip Sheffield. God, let's keep that.
Sure,
Never let that
Oh,
happen.
Yeah.
Michael Tarver. Is he Antonio Tarver's
Yeah,
brother?
sure.
I don't know. Justin Gabriel.
He's in ROH,
Oh,
if I'm not mistaken.
I'd be down for that.
So Heath Slater, David
And
Otunga. I'm pretty sure he's a lawyer for the WWE.
Really, is that what he did?
Let's
There it is, John Cena.
Let's not forget that Justin Gabriel, PJ Black, is the second ever King of the Mountain champion.
So Husky
Prestigious.
Harris.
Look,
Which-
if Bray Wyatt buys himself out of his 90 days early to show up as Heath's partner as Husky Harris, I'll just give up.
All right. What about
What
Joseph Henney, Michael
Oh, I forgot it
McGillicuddy,
was- Wait, he was in that, yeah. That's interesting.
and then we got Mason Ryan,
Nah.
and then last is obviously CM.
Yeah, so, I mean, either way, it's going to be interesting. It's probably none of these. We're just throwing stuff out there. And obviously, after Thursday, we'll have a very clear glimpse of, Social Outcast reunion. There's another one. So, yeah, Curtis Axel was part of that. So, okay. All right.
Was it no?
No, it
anyone
was,
Social Outcast?
someone help me out here. Who was that?
It
Dallas.
was
I remember from I Love New York Season 2.
Curtis Axel. It was Bo Dallas.
Ah, that's who it was.
Adam Rose.
Adam Rose?
And
Adam Rose.
Oh,
yeah.
wow, yeah. Forgot.
And
Heathen.
it's Heath.
It was Heath Slater, Bo Dallas, Axel Rose, and Curtis Axel.
Wait,
God, that would be an absolute. If any of them come back, I would just turn
Curtis.
on the TV.
Wait, Axel Rose or Curtis Axel?
Or Curtis Axel, whatever that Rose dude was,
All right. Well, guys.
with the rosebud.
Oh, okay. Adam Page. Yeah. Or Adam. Yeah, whatever.
Axel Rose.
He's no longer out.
Switch them together to one
He's a big dude.
person.
It's gonna be Rob Terry. Jesus, don't wish that upon us. All right, guys, we're over in time. But obviously, a pleasure as always.
Crimson.
Bound for Glory. I'm gonna clear this off. Well, no, obviously you can see right there if you read that. Obviously, it's a great lineup so far and more to come. Once again, Christian will be defending against Josh Alexander. Deanna will be defending against the challenger of Mickie James. X Division Championship that is vacant will be a first-time winner in Trey, Macklin, or ELP. Decay will be defending against IInspiration in their debut match. The Good Brothers will face somebody. I'm not going to even put stipulations on that. Heath and somebody will face VBD. Call Your Shot Battle Royal that already has what we assume is Swan, Myers, Moose, Morrissey, Sabin, Edwards, Ace, and Fulton. And then DM title with Skylar, Grace, Boss, Steve, and then 2 to be offered there. Where does Impact offered Lady Frost a contract? Yeah, I really hope that's the case. Her and Savage Gentleman. I wonder if all these losses she's taken is usually what they do when an Ospreay or someone comes and says they'll sign and then just uses us to wrestle at Wembley, and then they job them out.
Look at Chris Bay. Lost every match before he signed, and now
Fair enough. So a lot of speculation. If our numbers are any indication, thank you again on that. We could not do this without you. Impact is growing some way, some form, and obviously overseas. Look at the flags up there. I'm sure we will have to look into it. If you're from another country, please let us know. We'll definitely add you in there. We do this every Saturday, 8 to 9.
Most every Saturday.
Sometimes moves Sundays, depending on pay-per-view. But keep up with us at TNAIW channel. I'll let Craig say his normal spiels, and then we'll all say goodbye. Craig?
Yeah, so just follow us here, follow us there, follow us everywhere. You can see all of our social media handles on the screens below us. If you listen to us on YouTube, just hit that subscribe button. It takes 2 seconds, but it really does help us a lot. And I guess we'll see you all next time for some nonsense live. Goodbye, my friend.
Yep, one more.
If we can get just 16 more people, we'll have more viewers than the Impact Wrestling on Twitch does.
Oh my god.
It's the little goal we gotta shoot for.
Oh, Jesus. Bound for Glory Week, guys. Once again, we'll beat in your head. Tune in Tuesday for State of Impact, which is your one-stop video, 10 minutes or below, of everything you need for Impact Wrestling rumors, rankings, and everything in between for the week. Wednesday, you'll be with Craig's top 10 Bound for Glory main events of all time. I know there's only 16, but hey, go watch them. Get ready for Bound for Glory this Saturday. Thursday, Impact on Access TV, which will be live tweeting as always. An unboxing series. I'll be unboxing the trading card sets 2 and 3. I bought 2 of each. Now I feel dumb. I'll tell you why on the video. Friday will be Family Game Night, where we finally demo and release the unofficial Impact digital board game. If the response of the people playing it that are learning it is any inclination of what it's going to be a fun time. I guess it's a fun game. We'll see. And then 8 to 9, once again, is our preview show. It might change. I forgot to look into that. But a preview show before Bound for Glory. You get our word of what we think is going to happen, what's late, coming to the news. And then post BFG will be a normal 1-hour show from us. Thank you, guys, once again. One fan at a time, one friend at a time. Thank you. Please add, subscribe, comment, like, thumbs down. It all helps the algorithm. Thank you, guys. For Max, for Craig, for Jeff. See you next time, guys.
Later, guys.
Bye, everybody.